Commander Jack Miller watched through the viewport as the planet Lumeria grew larger. The blue-green world shimmered with rings of crystalline particles that caught the light of its twin suns. His heart beat faster. After 5 months in deep space, the mission was finally reaching its destination. "Nervous?" asked Sam Wilson, the ship's doctor and Jack's closest friend aboard the Stargazer. Jack smiled. "Wouldn't you be? We're about to become the first humans to make official contact with an alien civilization." Sam laughed and patted Jack's shoulder. "Try not to start an interstellar war on your first day." The Stargazer slowed as it approached Lumeria's orbit. Earth scientists had detected signals from this system 3 years ago. The message was simple, an invitation. "Come visit," it said. "We are waiting." Admiral Nancy Porter called the crew to the briefing room. Her gray hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her face showed the weariness of long space travel. "We've, received landing coordinates," she said. "The Lumerians have designated a spot near their capital city. Commander Miller will lead the first contact team." Jack nodded, trying to hide his surprise. He had expected the Admiral herself to go down first. "Why me?" he asked. "The Lumerians specifically requested someone under the age of 40, Admiral," Porter explained. "They said something about energy patterns being more compatible. You're our most experienced officer who fits that requirement." Jack spent the next hours preparing. He studied the limited information they had about Lumerian culture and practiced the greeting phrases. Their linguists had decoded from the alien transmissions. The landing shuttle carried Jack and 5 others. Sam, 2 security officers named Greg and Diane, communications specialist Alan Reed, and xenobiologist Kate Murphy. As they descended through Lumeria's atmosphere, Jack felt a strange tingling across his skin. "Anyone else feel that?" he asked. The others nodded. "Some kind of energy field," Kate said, checking her instruments. "It's scanning us, I think." The shuttle landed in a wide plaza paved with something that looked like marble but glowed with soft blue light. Beyond the plaza stood buildings unlike anything Jack had seen before. They seemed to be made of crystal that grew naturally from the ground, twisting upward in graceful spirals. Some were transparent, others opaque, and many shifted colors as he watched. "Stay close," Jack told his team as the shuttle door opened. "Remember the protocols." The air outside smelled like cinnamon and sea salt. It was breathable, just as their scans had indicated, though slightly richer in oxygen than Earth's atmosphere. The gravity was a bit lighter too, making Jack feel like he could jump twice as high if he tried. A group of Lumerians approached across the plaza. Jack had seen images transmitted ahead of their arrival, but nothing prepared him for seeing them in person. They walked on 2 legs like humans, but that was where the similarities ended. Their bodies were slender and tall, with skin that changed colors like living opals. Instead of hair, they had what looked like delicate crystal formations growing from their heads. Most striking were their faces. Each had 6 eyes arranged in a pattern across features that were both alien and somehow beautiful. The Lumerian in front wore something like a robe that flowed around its body. The fabric, if it was fabric, seemed alive, rippling with colors that matched the being's skin. "Welcome to Lumeria," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Zell, Chief Diplomat of the High Council." Jack bowed slightly, as their research suggested was polite. "Thank you for your invitation. I am Commander Jack Miller of Earth, representing the United Space Agency." Zell's skin shifted from blue to a warm purple. "We have prepared accommodations for you and your team. But first, the High Council wishes to greet you formally." They followed Zell through streets where more Lumerians stopped to watch them pass. The aliens made no sound, but their skin colors changed rapidly as they saw the humans. Jack wondered if this was their way of talking to each other. The council building was the largest structure they had seen, a massive crystal dome that reflected the sunlight in rainbow patterns. Inside, the walls were lined with what looked like living plants that moved slightly, turning toward the visitors as if curious. "The council will join us shortly," Zell said, gesturing to a circle of cushions in the center of the room. "Please rest yourselves." As the humans sat awkwardly on the cushions, Jack noticed the plants on the walls beginning to glow. The light grew stronger until it formed patterns in the air above them, swirling designs that reminded him of DNA helixes and star maps. "They're scanning us again," Kate whispered, watching her instruments. "More thoroughly this time." Before Jack could respond, a new group of Lemurians entered through an archway that hadn't been there moments before. There were 7 of them, each wearing the same flowing, color-changing robes as Zell, but one stood out from the others. She was slightly shorter, her skin a deep, steady blue that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Unlike the others, whose crystal formations grew in various directions, hers formed a pattern that looked almost like a crown. Her 6 eyes, arranged in a perfect hexagon, studied the humans with an intensity that made Jack's breath catch. "The High Council of Lemuria," Zell announced, "and Her Highness Princess Aria, heir to the council seat." The council members took positions around the room, but Princess Zyria approached the humans directly. She moved with grace that seemed impossible, as if she were floating just above the floor. "Commander Miller," she said, her voice like music, with an underlying rhythm Jack couldn't quite grasp. "We have waited a long time to meet your kind face to face." Jack stood and bowed deeply. "We're honored by your welcome, Your Highness. How long have you known about us?" Sam asked, unable to contain his curiosity. Princess Zyria's eyes shifted, the inner pair focusing on Sam while the outer 4 remained on Jack. "We have observed Earth since your earliest civilizations began. Your development has been of interest to us." Jack felt a chill run down his spine. "You've been watching us for thousands of years? Why not contact us sooner?" "There. Our protocols," she replied. "Rules about interaction with developing species. Your recent achievements in space travel indicated you were ready for the next stage." "Next stage of what?" Jack asked. Princess Saria's skin darkened slightly. "There is much to discuss, Commander. But first, we should allow you to rest. Space travel drains energy patterns in ways your people do not yet understand." As they were led to their quarters, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that the princess was hiding something important. The way she had looked at him, not just with her eyes but with her entire being, suggested she knew more about him, about all humans, than she was saying. That night, as he lay in a bed that adjusted perfectly to his body, Jack stared out at the alien sky. 2 moons hung there, one green and one gold, casting strange shadows across the crystal city. "Why now?" he whispered to himself. "What changed to make them contact us after all this time?" He didn't know it yet, but Princess Zyria was asking herself the same question about him. Jack woke to the soft chime of an alien bell. Sunlight filtered through the crystal walls of his room, casting rainbow patterns across the floor. For a moment, he forgot where he was. Then it all came rushing back. The planet Lemuria, the strange color-changing aliens, and Princess Zyria with her 6 piercing eyes. A message appeared on the wall, the letters forming as if written by an invisible hand. "Commander Miller, your presence is requested in the Garden of Knowledge. Zell will guide you." Jack found the diplomat waiting outside his door. Today, Zell's skin glowed a soft orange. "Did you rest well?" Zell asked. "Better than I expected," Jack admitted. "Where are the others?" "Your team members are being shown different aspects of our society," Zell explained. "Dr. Wilson is visiting our healing centers. Your security officers are touring our defense systems. The others are exploring our science and communication facilities." "Splitting us up?" Jack frowned. "That wasn't the plan." "Princess Zyria requested you specifically," Zell said. "She believes you will understand what she wishes to show you." The Garden of Knowledge was unlike any garden Jack had seen. Instead of flowers and trees, it contained glowing crystals that grew from the ground in complex patterns. Some were small, no larger than a finger. Others towered overhead like ancient oaks. All pulsed with inner light that changed color and intensity. Princess Zyria waited at the center of the garden. Today her skin was lighter, more like a twilight sky than the midnight blue of yesterday. "Commander Miller," she greeted him, "thank you for coming." "Your Highness," Jack bowed slightly, "your world is beautiful." "What you see is only the surface," she said. She touched one of the crystal formations, and suddenly the air filled with three-dimensional images, stars, planets, galaxies. A map of the universe. This is our knowledge archive, she explained. Each crystal contains centuries of observations and data. She made another gesture, and the star map zoomed in on a familiar blue planet. Earth, Jack whispered. Yes, the princess moved her hand, and the image of Earth began to change, showing its history in fast motion. Ice ages came and went. Continents drifted, and then appearing as tiny lights on the surface, human civilizations. You really have been watching us, Jack said. Not just watching, Zyria touched another crystal. New images appeared, Lumerian ships in Earth's orbit nearly invisible to human technology. The ships moved to intercept large asteroids, redirecting them away from Earth. Other scenes showed them neutralizing massive solar flares that would have devastated Earth's communications. You've been protecting us, Jack realized. Why? Princess. Zyria's skin rippled with patterns of light. Walk with me, Commander. They moved deeper into the garden, where the crystal formations grew more complex. Some seemed to twist in ways that hurt Jack's eyes to follow. Your species is young, Zyria said, but you have great potential. You create art, you dream. You imagine things that do not exist and then bring them into reality. This is rare. There. Are other species out there? Jack asked. Many, she confirmed. Some are ancient beyond your comprehension. Some are newly emerged. Some, like yours, stand at a crossroads. They reached a crystal larger than the others. When Zyria touched it, Jack saw images that chilled him, worlds burning, civilizations in ruins. Not all species share our philosophy of protection, she said quietly. There is a coalition we call the Arbiters. They believe developing species should face all natural challenges without intervention. They consider it a form of natural selection. On a cosmic scale, they want species to die out? Jack asked, horrified. They believe only those strong enough to survive without help deserve to join the galactic community. Zyria's skin darkened. We disagree. My ancestors witnessed the extinction of 17 promising civilizations before implementing our protection. Protocol, Jack's mind raced. These arbiters, do they know about Earth? They know of many developing worlds, including yours. Zyria turned all six eyes to him. Our presence has deterred them so far. But your recent advances in space travel have complicated matters, because we're becoming more visible, Jack guessed. Yes, and because you're beginning to venture beyond our protective sphere, a soft alarm sounded. Zyria touched her wrist where a band of crystal glowed red. The High Council requests our presence, she said. There is a development you should be aware of. They hurried back through the garden. Jack tried to process everything he'd learned. Aliens had been protecting Earth for thousands of years. Other aliens thought humanity should be left to face extinction. And now something urgent was happening. In the council chamber. Admiral Porter and the rest of Jack's team were already waiting. Porter's face was grim. Commander, she acknowledged him. The princess has been sharing some disturbing information. The center of the room filled with a hologram showing space near Lumeria. A fleet of ships approached, sleek, black vessels that absorbed light rather than reflecting it. Arbiter scouts, Princess Syria announced. They rarely venture this close to our worlds. They're here because of us, Jack realized. Because we came to Lumeria. Zyria nodded. Your presence has forced them to acknowledge our connection with Earth. What do they want? Admiral Porter asked. One of the council members stepped forward. They have requested communication. They wish to discuss the human presence in our system. Discuss? Jack didn't like the sound of that. They will demand we end our protection of Earth, Zyria said. They will argue that humanity must face the natural challenges of space without intervention. And if you refuse? Sam asked. The council chamber grew quiet. Zyria's skin turned almost black. Then they may take direct action, she finally said. Against Lumeria, against your ship, against Earth. We need to warn Earth, Admiral Porter said. Our people need to prepare. Any transmission would reveal your home system's exact coordinates, Zyria warned. The Arbiters know Earth exists, but not its precise location in the galaxy. Your navigation data would give them what they need for a direct assault. Jack looked at the hologram of the approaching ships. How long do we have? They will reach communication range in 6 hours, one of the council members said. Full arrival. In 12, Admiral Porter turned to Jack. Commander, you've spent the most time with the princess. What's your assessment? Jack met Zaria's six-eyed gaze. Despite her alien appearance, he'd come to trust her. The evidence she'd shown him in the garden couldn't be faked. I believe the Lemurians have been protecting us, he said. And I believe these Arbiters are a real threat. We need to work together. Zyria's skin lightened slightly. There may be a way, she said, but it will require trust on both sides. What kind of way? Jack asked. Your ship has technology we've never seen before, she said. Different approaches to similar problems. If we combine our knowledge, we might create defenses the Arbiters aren't prepared for. Jack looked at Admiral Porter, who nodded slowly. Take whatever you need from the Stargazer, Porter told Zaria. If Earth is in danger, we'll do whatever it takes to help. As the council began making preparations, Jack found himself standing beside Princess Zyria. Why didn't you tell me all this yesterday? He asked. Would you have believed me? Her skin rippled with patterns that somehow conveyed sadness. Some truths must be discovered, not told. Jack watched as Lumerian and human crew members began working together, sharing technology and ideas. In 12 hours, they would face an enemy that wanted to erase humanity from the galaxy. We'll find a way, he promised, though he wasn't sure who he was trying to reassure, Zyria or himself. The next 6 hours passed in a blur of activity. Jack worked closely with Princess Zyria, sharing Earth's military strategies while Lumerian engineers examined the Stargazer's technology. Sam and Kate helped Lumerian scientists understand human biology, hoping to find advantages neither species had considered alone. These Arbiters, Jack asked Zyria as they reviewed defense plans, what do they look like? Zyria waved her hand over a crystal panel. An image appeared of tall, thin beings with gray skin that seemed to absorb light. They had only 2 eyes, but those eyes were large and completely black. Where humans had mouths, they had thin slits that didn't seem to move when they spoke. They communicate through thought, Zyria explained. They consider verbal speech primitive. Have you ever fought them before? Jack asked. Not directly, Zyria admitted. We've had disagreements, but they've never brought a fleet to Lumeria. A soft alarm sounded throughout the city. On the main view screen, the black ships had moved. Closer. They're hailing us, one of the council members announced. Princess Zyria straightened her posture. Put them through. The screen changed to show one of the beings Jack had just seen in the image. Up close, its eyes seemed even more unsettling, like looking into empty space. High Council of Lumeria, the being said, its voice oddly flat. Despite coming through a translator. I am Overseer Neck of the Arbiter Coalition. We request explanation for the human presence in your system? The humans are our guests, Zyria replied. They came at our invitation. This violates our agreement, Neck said. Developing species are not to be contacted until they reach Threshold 7. Humans are barely at Threshold 4. Jack looked questioningly at Zyria. She touched his arm lightly, a signal to remain quiet. The decision to contact them was made by our council after careful consideration, she said to Neck. We believe they are ready. The Arbiter's black eyes seemed to grow darker. Your belief is irrelevant. The protocols exist to protect the cosmic balance. You will surrender the humans to us for return to their world. Earth will then be placed under observation without interference. Admiral Porter stepped forward. We're not going anywhere without assurances of Earth's safety. Neck's attention shifted to Porter. Human, you do not understand what is at stake. Your species has potential to develop in ways that could threaten countless civilizations. The protocols exist to ensure proper development or natural extinction. And who decides what's proper? Jack asked, unable to stay silent any longer. The Arbiters have maintained cosmic balance for 8 million years, Neck replied. Your species has barely existed for a fraction of that time. You cannot comprehend the patterns we protect. Princess Zaria's skin darkened to deep blue. We request time to discuss your demands, Overseer Neck. You have 2 hours, the Arbiter said. Then, we will take action as required by the protocols. The screen went dark. What's Threshold 7? Jack asked immediately. A development scale, Zaria explained. It measures a species' technological and ethical progress. Threshold 7 indicates a civilization that can travel between star systems and has unified its homeworld under peaceful governance. And Earth is at Threshold 4? Yes, you have begun space exploration but still wage war against yourselves. Your technology is advancing faster than your wisdom, Admiral Porter frowned. So these arbiters think we're dangerous because we're not peaceful enough? Not exactly, one of the council members said. They believe humans are developing too quickly in certain areas, artificial intelligence, genetic manipulation, quantum physics. They fear you will create something you cannot control. Like what? Sam asked. The council members exchanged looks. Zaria's skin rippled with patterns that seemed to indicate discomfort. There have been incidents, she finally said. Species that developed technologies which spread beyond their control. Some created self-replicating machines that consumed entire planets. Others released biological agents that evolved beyond their creators' understanding. And they think humans will do something similar? Jack asked. They calculate a 67% probability, Zaria said. Based on your history and current development trajectory. Jack paced the room, thinking. So either we surrender and let them control Earth's future, or they attack both our worlds? Those appear to be the options they're giving us, Zaria confirmed. But there's always another way, Jack said. He turned to Admiral Porter. The Stargazer's weapon systems, they're different from anything the Lemurians have, right? Porter nodded. Our pulse cannons use a different energy signature than anything we've seen here. And the Arbiters haven't seen them either, Jack said. He looked at Zaria. What if we combine our technologies? Create something neither the Lemurians nor the Arbiters have seen before. Zaria's skin brightened slightly. What are you suggesting? The Arbiters expect either surrender or a traditional Lemurian defense, Jack explained. They don't expect humans and Lemurians working together as equals. That's our advantage. For the next hour, they worked frantically. Lemurian engineers adapted the Stargazer's pulse cannon technology to their city's defense grid. Human security officers worked with Lemurian defense teams to create unpredictable battle strategies. Sam suggested using Earth music transmitted at specific frequencies to disrupt the Arbiter's thought-based communication. It's crazy enough it might work, Admiral Porter said. They won't expect us to attack with Batch and Beyonce. As the 2-hour deadline approached, Princess Zaria took Jack to a hidden chamber beneath the council building. There is one more thing we can try, she said. She pointed to a crystal formation unlike any Jack had seen before. It pulsed with inner light that seemed to shift between dimensions. This is the heart of Lemuria. It connects all our people. It can also temporarily connect with other species. Connect how? Jack asked. Mind to mind, Zaria said. If we connect during the battle, we can coordinate perfectly. But it requires absolute trust. I would see your thoughts. You would see mine. Jack hesitated only briefly. If it helps us win? I'm in. Zaria placed her hands on the crystal. Jack did the same. Immediately, he felt a rush of images and feelings not his own. Zaria's memories, her hopes, her fears. He saw Lemuria through her eyes, felt her deep connection to her people and her genuine concern for Earth. She saw his thoughts too. His love for his family back on Earth, his pride in being chosen for this mission, his growing feelings of respect and something more for her. When they broke the connection, Jack felt different. He understood Zaria in a way words could never express. Now we're ready, she said softly. They returned to the council chamber just as Overseer Neck appeared on the screen again. Your time is up, the Arbiter announced. What is your decision? Princess. Zaria stepped forward, her skin now a brilliant, defiant gold. We reject your demand. Humans will choose their own path with Lumerian guidance and friendship. Then you have chosen conflict, Nex said. The protocols will be enforced. The screen went dark. Moments later, alarms blared throughout the city. As the Arbiter ships moved into attack formation, all defense teams to positions, Zyria ordered. She looked at Jack, a silent communication passing between them after their mind connection. Jack nodded. Let's show them what humans and Lemurians can do together. The battle for Earth's future was about to begin. The first attack came without warning. Beams of dark energy shot from the Arbiter ships, striking Lumeria's protective shield. The entire city shook. Crystal buildings hummed as they absorbed and redistributed the energy. Shield holding at 87%, a Lumerian technician reported. Princess Zaria stood at the center of the command room, her skin shifting between gold and deep blue as she coordinated the defense. Jack stood beside her, the connection they had shared through the heart of Lumeria still linking their thoughts. They're testing our defenses, Jack said, looking for weak points. Zyria nodded. Standard Arbiter tactics. They expect us to respond with our traditional energy weapons? Then let's surprise them. Jack turned to Admiral Porter. Is the Stargazer in position? Porter checked with her crew through a communication device. Ready and waiting, Commander. Jack looked at Zyria. Now, she confirmed. Jack gave the order. Launch Pulse Sequence Alpha. From orbit, the Stargazer fired its modified pulse cannons. Instead of targeting the Arbiter ships directly, the energy pulses hit Lumeria's shield at specific points. The shield absorbed the energy, then redirected it outward in a pattern the Lumerian engineers had designed. The result was spectacular. Waves of golden energy rippled from the shield, washing over the Arbiter fleet. 3 of their smaller ships lost power immediately, drifting helplessly in space. Direct hit, Porter announced, unable to hide her satisfaction. Their shields weren't configured to handle that energy pattern. On the main screen, they could see the remaining Arbiter ships regrouping. Their formation changed, becoming more defensive. They're adapting, Zyria warned. We won't be able to use the same trick twice. Then we move to Phase 2. Jack nodded. To Sam, who sat at a control panel with Kate. Broadcasting now, Sam said, through the Stargazer's communication array. They began transmitting Earth music across all frequencies. The complex patterns of Batch's fugues, mixed with the powerful rhythms of rock and hip-hop, created a sonic interference that the Lemurians had enhanced with their own technology. On screen, they could see the Arbiter ships moving erratically, as if their navigation systems were confused. It's working, Kate said excitedly. Their thought-based communication is disrupted by the music patterns. The Arbiter's response came swiftly. A new type of weapon fired from their largest ship. Not energy beams this time, but some kind of dark matter projectiles that passed right through Lumeria's shields. Brace for impact. Zyria called out. The projectiles struck several crystal towers. Instead of destroying them, the dark matter began to spread like ink in water, turning the beautiful crystals black. What is that? Jack asked, alarmed. Anti-resonance matter, one of the council members explained. It disrupts the crystal harmonics that power our city. Throughout the city, crystal structures began to dim as the dark matter spread. Power fluctuated. In the command center. If it reaches the heart of Lumeria, we'll lose all defenses, Zyria said. Her skin paling to an ashen blue. Jack felt her fear through their mental connection. But he also sensed something else, an idea forming in her mind. The gardens, she said suddenly. Jack, come with me. They raced through corridors where Lemurians were working frantically to contain the spreading darkness. In the Garden of Knowledge, the crystal formations were still glowing brightly, untouched by the attack. The knowledge crystals operate on a different frequency, Zyria explained as she moved quickly between the formations. They might be immune to the anti-resonance. She stopped at a particularly large crystal. This contains our oldest records, including information about the Arbiter's first appearance in this galaxy. When she touched the crystal, images appeared, ancient battles, worlds being defended. and something that looked like a diagram of the Arbiter ships. There, Jack pointed. Is that what I think it is? Zyria's skin brightened. Yes, the original. Arbiter vessels had a harmonic weakness. Their thought-based technology required perfect resonance. And if we disrupt that resonance, Jack began, we might be able to disable their ships without destroying them. Zyria finished his thought. They hurried back to the command center, where the situation had worsened. Half the city was now darkened by the spreading anti-resonance. The shield was failing in multiple sections. Jack quickly explained their plan to Admiral Porter and the Council. We need to modify our pulse cannons to match this specific frequency, he said, showing them the ancient diagram. It would require reconfiguring the Stargazer's entire weapon system, Porter objected. Not necessarily, Sam interrupted. He and Kate had been listening. We could use the Lumerian crystal network to amplify our existing pulses like a prism focusing light. Zyria looked at the diagram again. It might work, but we would need to use the heart of Lumeria as the focal point. It's risky. If we fail, we lose our core power source. And if we do nothing, we lose everything, Jack said. The decision was made. While the city's outer defenses continued to hold off the Arbiters, Jack, Zyria, and a team of human and Lumerian engineers worked to modify the heart of Lumeria. They connected it to the Stargazer's pulse cannon system, creating a hybrid technology. Unlike anything either civilization had built before. As they worked, Jack felt Zyria's presence in his mind growing stronger. Their shared consciousness allowed them to work with perfect coordination, anticipating each other's needs without speaking. We're ready, Sam announced finally, on the monitors. They could see the Arbiter fleet moving in for what would likely be their final attack. The city shields were down to 12% power. The anti-resonance had spread to nearly 70% of the crystal structures. Everyone to safe positions, Zyria ordered. Jack and I will initiate the pulse from the heart chamber. In the chamber deep beneath the city, Jack and Zyria stood on opposite sides of the heart crystal. Its light pulsed between them, weaker than before, but still fighting against the darkness. This will take all the remaining power, Zyria warned. If it fails, double quotes, Jack reached across the crystal and took her hand. Her skin felt warm and slightly textured, like touching the surface of water that somehow remained solid. It won't fail, he said, not with both of us controlling it. They placed their free hands on the crystal. Jack felt energy flow through him, from the Stargazer in orbit, through the city's network, through Zyria, through himself, and into the heart. The crystal's light changed, taking on a golden hue with flecks of earth blue mixed in. Now, they said together, the energy built to an unbearable peak. For a moment, Jack thought his body might not be able to contain it. Then the heart released the pulse. A wave of golden blue energy erupted from the city, expanding outward in all directions. It passed harmlessly through Lumerian structures but struck the Arbiter ships with devastating precision. Through their mental link, Jack could see what Zyria saw, the Arbiter vessels going dark one by one, their thought-based systems overwhelmed by the targeted frequency. The anti-resonance matter stopped spreading. Slowly, the darkness began to recede from the crystal buildings. Like a tide going out. In the silence that followed, Jack and Zyria stood with their hands still joined across the heart of Lumeria. Through their connection, no words were needed. They had succeeded. Earth was safe. Lumeria was safe, and something new had been born between their two worlds. 3 days passed before the Arbiter ship showed any signs of life. During that time, Lumerian crystal engineers worked tirelessly to repair their city. The anti-resonance matter had left scars on many buildings, but the heart of Lumeria pulsed. Stronger each day, helping to heal the damage. Jack stood on a balcony overlooking the city, watching the sunrise turn the crystal towers into rainbows of light. He still felt the echo of Zyria's thoughts in his mind, though their direct connection had faded after the battle. Beautiful, isn't it? Admiral Porter joined him at the railing. Like nothing we have on Earth, Jack agreed. The Council has called for a meeting, Porter told him. The lead Arbiter ship is powering up again. They're requesting communication. In the council chamber, the mood was tense but hopeful. The Lemurians had proven they could defend themselves against the Arbiters, and the humans had shown they were more than the primitive species the Arbiters believed them to be. Princess Zeria stood at the center of the chamber, her skin now a calm, steady blue with gold patterns flowing across it. Jack stood beside her, feeling strangely at home in this alien place. "Open the channel," Zeria commanded. Overseer Neck appeared on the screen. The Arbiter looked different somehow, less imposing, more thoughtful. "High Council of Lumeria," Neck began. "We acknowledge your successful defense and the unexpected nature of your alliance with humans." "The nature of our alliance should not be surprising," Zeria replied. "Both our species value life and freedom, perhaps?" Neck's black eyes shifted slightly. "Our assessment of humanity may have been incomplete. The creativity they demonstrated in battle suggests qualities we had not fully measured." Jack stepped forward. "We're more than just the sum of our technology or our wars, Overseer. We create art, music, literature. We explore not just to conquer, but to understand." "So we have observed," Neck replied. "Your use of sound patterns as a weapon was unprecedented. No species has attempted such a strategy against us before." "Not a weapon," Sam corrected from his position near the back of the room. "Communication, music is how we express what words cannot say." Neck was silent for a moment, as if processing this concept. Finally, the Arbiter spoke again. "The Arbiter Coalition proposes a compromise. We will withdraw our fleet and postpone judgment on humanity's development path on one condition." "What condition?" Admiral Porter asked suspiciously. "That Lumeria accepts formal responsibility for guiding human development," Neck said. "Not through hidden protection as before, but through open exchange of knowledge and culture." Zeria and Jack exchanged glances. Through the remnants of their mental link, Jack sensed her surprise and her hope. "You're suggesting we establish official relations with Earth?" Zeria asked. "Yes, if humans are to advance beyond Threshold 4, they will need guidance from a more developed civilization. Their cooperation with you during this conflict suggests compatibility." The High Council members whispered among themselves. This was not the outcome anyone had expected. "Why this change of position?" Zeria asked Neck. The Arbiter's expression remained unreadable, but his voice carried a hint of something almost like respect. "For 8 million years, the Arbiters have maintained the cosmic balance. We have seen patterns repeat across countless civilizations, but rarely have we seen two different species cooperate so effectively without prior contact. This suggests a possibility we had not considered. That different species can help each other grow," Jack suggested. "Perhaps." Neck's black eyes fixed on Jack. "Or perhaps humans possess qualities that even the Arbiters have yet to fully understand. Either way, we are willing to observe this experiment." After the communication ended, the council chamber erupted in discussion. Some council members worried about exposing Lumerian technology to humans too quickly. Others saw an opportunity for both worlds to benefit. "What do you think?" Jack asked Zeria quietly. Her skin rippled with patterns of light. "I think this is what my ancestors hoped for when they first began watching Earth, not just to protect, but eventually to connect." Admiral Porter approached them. "If we're going to establish formal relations with Lumeria, we'll need to return to Earth and prepare our people. This will change everything: our science, our politics, our understanding of our place in the universe." "We should send representatives with you," Zeria suggested, "to meet your leaders and begin the exchange of knowledge. Will you come?" Jack asked her. Zeria's skin shifted to a soft violet hue. "As heir to the High Council, it would be appropriate for me to represent Lumeria." The next day, preparations began for the journey to Earth. The Stargazer would carry both human crew and a small delegation of Lemurians, including Princess Zeria. The journey would take 3 months, during which time they would develop plans for how to introduce the people of Earth to the reality of alien life. On their last evening on Lumeria, Jack found Zeria in the Garden of Knowledge. She stood among the crystal formations, her skin glowing softly in the twilight. "Nervous about visiting Earth?" he asked. "Curious," she corrected. "I have seen your world through our monitoring systems for many years. To actually walk on its surface, feel its gravity, breathe its air, it will be a new experience." "Humans might not react well at first," Jack warned. "We fear what we don't understand, as do all intelligent species." Zyria touched one of the knowledge crystals. "But you also adapt quickly. You embrace new ideas. That is why the Arbiters feared you, and why we have always believed in your potential." Jack moved closer to her. In the days since their mental connection during the battle, he had felt a growing bond with her that went beyond their different species. They had shared thoughts, feelings, memories, a connection deeper than he had ever experienced with another being. "Earth has some beautiful places too," he told her. "Mountains, oceans, forests. Nothing like your crystal cities, but special in their own way. I look forward to seeing them through your eyes," she said. The light from the knowledge crystals caught her features, highlighting the alien beauty of her six-eyed face and the patterns flowing across her skin. In that moment, despite all their differences, Jack felt he understood her completely. "So beautiful," he whispered, the words escaping before he could stop them, and the alien princess turned without a word. But her skin changed to a brilliant gold with patterns of deep blue, the colors of their shared victory of Earth and Lumeria united. No translation was needed for Jack to understand what that meant. As they walked together through the garden, planning their journey to Earth and the new future that awaited both their worlds, Jack realized that the universe was both stranger and more wonderful than humanity had ever imagined. And now they would explore it together.